Hello and welcome. This is Abhisheksengupta, and we are here with another episode of our podcast, Knowledge Talks. Now, we are thrilled to welcome Anton. Now, Anton is based in Berlin, Germany. He is a coach on changing mindset and perspective, an entrepreneur and author of Engineering Edition newsletter. He worked with leaders, founders, experienced professionals who operate in complexity and are ready for a deep shift and transformation. Now, transformation could be in perspective, identity, and decision making. His key focus areas include mindset transformation and mental models, leadership clarity, and decision making under complexity, identity shift, traditions, and direction, and last but not the least, for founder and tech leader, that's inner in architecture for sustainable impact. So, first and foremost, Anton, welcome to our show and thank you so much for being a part of it.
My pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you so much. Anton, we are going straight to the topic, and I assure that this is going to be an interesting, and for our listeners and viewers, this is going to be a win-win, and I'm sure they will have a lot of takeaway from you. Now, point number one for discussion, normal. Now, normal is something which is many times we call it as something relative, right? Now, we would like to know what does normal mean in today's business world. Now, at times it represents being safe or following a predictable path. Now, to some extent, this question may be a bit different or probably somewhat extremely linked, as we want to know why following the crowd can limit the innovation and growth. Over to you.
Thanks. That's a really interesting question. Normal, I would say normal is a distant word where people define probably the comfort zone, right? As you already mentioned, this is a safe, predictable path everyone tries to follow. From the other hand, we always aim for changes, for something new, for innovation, just for rocket science, to be a unicorn. And these things require some sort of unpredictability, a risk. And the normal is definition on the safe, and the risk of the definition growth. And for the business world, I would say this mood and positioning where people are absolutely comfortable with unknown, this is a normal, some sort of inner quotes. Because if you want to grow, you need to step out of your comfort zone and take a harder decision, learn new skills, be flexible, adapt to the market, adapt to the business, a lot of things happening at the same time. And this we call in the business world normal. As constant change is a new definition of normal.
Wow, very well explained. I have taken down 3 points while we were saying is point number one is normal is discomfort, because people are so used to what exactly they are doing. They really, I must say, they are very uncomfortable from deviating their path. It's something like the law of motion. First law of motion, what it's always a behavioral inertia which plays. Now, behavioral inertia is that people are very much comfortable in what they are doing. Anything extra they want to do, anything else they want to do, they are always a bit comfortable. But comfort comes with a lot of, lot of distortion. Why I say comfort comes with a lot of destruction, not destruction, it's distortion, I must say. Comfort hardly, the people can hardly innovate anything or can achieve anything unless they, till the time they are in their comfort zone. Now, they have to leave their comfort zone in order to achieve something, in order to do something better. Now, you have mentioned the second point is that we have to aim for changes. We cannot go on what we are doing, right? Whatever we are doing, that part is okay. Whatever has been done till now is, again, it's okay, good, nice. But we have to take a different path. We cannot follow the crowd like this. We have to aim for changes. We have to do something which can really help us to innovate something, do our lives better, and of course, we can contribute something to the society. Third point, of course, we have to come out of the comfort zone. We cannot live in comfort zone like this. Comfort zone kills. It's always said that comfort zone kills. It's not that comfort zone is something which can really lead to innovation of some new item. No one has built something great when they are in comfort zone. Steve Jobs came out of their comfort zone. Anyone, even Elon Musk has come out of the comfort zone. Then only they built Tesla and SpaceX. We have to come out of their comfort zone. So three very good pointers. And normal is something which is not meant for business founders or startup founders, because had they been normal, following the same path as the crowd, they would not have built anything great. So something great which we got from you. Now this is taking us to the next point. How does the fear of failure keep entrepreneurs trapped in average thinking? Now, could you please unpack how the emotional and social fears influence the conservative business choices? Now, business choice has to be something great, something a bit different from what others are doing. Now, conservative businesses at times are very stagnant. Now, this can also lead to something what we call as self-sabotage, quote unquote, self-sabotage. And how can one handle this? And if you can discuss the statement of identity, and it will be great if you can also discuss or convey something on action items to be taken as a list. Over to you.
Yeah, it's an amazing question. I want to make reference to a book from Simon Sinek called Why, and also the logical layers from coaching. Is the main idea of failure, right? It's lack of vision, right? Probably if we have this question, just we have fear of doing something, it might be obvious to ask why you're doing that, why it's important to you, right? Who you're becoming. Especially for social fears and all this emotional stuff, it should be deeply connected to your identity. And this identity plays a crucial role, because imagine from top down, you have a vision, a really clear vision. Let's assume it's Steve Jobs or Elon Musk, they aim in something really high, right? What else or who else can benefit from what you're doing, right? The society, the group, the family, the friends, some group of people beside you. Then they have identity, who they are becoming on this journey. And then why it's important for them. And last 3 steps, it's really straightforward. It's probably what skills you already have, what action items you need to do, and when and where you want to do that. And if you're speaking about two parts of people, we have a lot of people who know what to do. They are really skilled professionals, but they don't know why they're doing it, right? And from the other end, we have people who have a great vision, they have everything, but they don't know how. And just the main idea of this self-sabotage and fear, how to connect these 2 pieces. And most interesting part, people who have a great vision, they can easily learn skills and what to do, because it's more about the technical stuff, or hire someone. But the people who know what to do, they are lacking the identity. And this is called the identity shifts, because they don't know, this is the comfort zone. Just tell me what to do, I will do it. I just not fear anything, right? But then after some time, when you have some sort of the struggle or deep struggle from not a professional standpoint, some as a human being, you need to evolve, right? And in this case, you need to start thinking, why I'm doing all this stuff, who I'm becoming, just what I want to do, just how I can benefit, just what I can deliver, how I can contribute to entire world. And there is become the interesting. And the action items, just ask yourself just these 5 questions. What is your vision? Who you are becoming? About your identity, about the personality, why it's important to you. Just build these inner values to avoid the social things, labels, just all this stuff, just why it's important only for you. Just let's imagine no one cares about what you're doing, why it's important just for you. If no one looking, if you're alone. And then about the skills, the action items you can take, and probably the timelines and the place where you want to do it and when. And this is the most important thing, some sort of the strategy session where you start understanding the borders and you have a path you need to follow, taking the steps every day probably.
Wow, that's very well explained. I have taken out 3-4 points while you were saying that. First and foremost is something called lack of vision. I think this is the prime thing. Most of the people stay where exactly that stagnancy comes out because of the lack of vision. Why you are doing this is a question which is not very easy to answer. We have to brainstorm. Probably at times we also have to go for mentorship in this in order to find out. This may seem like a very easy question. This is a regular question, but this is something not very easy to answer. Now, second point which you have mentioned, we have to really find out who else can benefit other than yourself or your family, your friends, or immediate your investor circle. Who else is going to benefit? So that is something which is there, because I remember one thing: when Jeff Bezos was building Amazon, it was initially a bookstore, because he has said that who else is going to benefit, who is going to benefit out of this online bookstore? Probably the readers. Now he thought that instead of only serving the readers or the people who are purchasing book, let us include other storehouse, other items too, so that people can get into that circle of benefit increases. So that's how this Amazon came into being, and now Amazon is everything store. That arrow from A to Z shows that you are getting from A to Z everything. So that is one thing which is this question is very important. In fact, this question was a game changer in case of Amazon, in case of Jeff Bezos cases. Now second is that your skill and action items. Now this is the time when the skill really matters. We can be having some of the best academic degrees, but skill is something which is of great help, which can really take you to the next level. Now, two more questions which can help to come out of self-sabotage is: why are you doing this and how to do this? Now, why are you doing this could be your mission statement, or probably that can clarify your vision. And second is how to do this is something related to your skills. How to do this, your skill, how you are strategizing, and all those things, your planning, your action, your organizing, and it could be anything, lot more thing. So now second is that your vision and your strategy. Now vision is definitely your clarity, is something which I have already spoken about. Now strategy session is very important. How to build it, what should be step number 1, what should be step number 2, step number 3. Apart from that, it is very important that how to put a review, because we can have some fantastic strategies, we could have done a wonderful brainstorming, but if we do not have that check whether this is going right or this is not going right, now here comes the importance of review. Your review is very important. After every step you have to review your strategy, and this is what we discussed and this is what we should get as a result. Are we getting this result? If yes, wonderful, go ahead, strategy is working. If no, how to amend the strategy, how to revise the strategy and redo the action plan. So that is something which is important. Strategy session is I find this one of the most complicated sessions. So that's how it is. We all have faced the strategy sessions. So some very good pointers you have mentioned, Anton.
Let me jump there. I just want to contribute to your statement about the strategy. And this is not something this is worked, or this is just right or wrong answer. You have result, as you mentioned. And it's really important to be objective, not subjective, and tell if it works. It means if it works, is exceeded expectations. What happened behind, right? And if it doesn't work as expected, what is the steps behind? Because as you go, a strategy, it's not a clearly defined plan and everything will go as assumed, right? And fulfill all the goals and expectations. It means you should learn what works, what's not. Because sometimes you can learn from win, sometimes you can learn from just below the bar. And just a really interesting point, just take knowledge from both, Because if it works now, it doesn't mean it will work in next quarter or next year. And this objectiveness will keep the shape of you as a business and keep it sharp mind. I always think why it happened and why it's matter.
Wow. You have rightly mentioned that strategy is very, review is one aspect. And, another point we should have just mentioned, why the strategy didn't work. We have to analyze the failure. Personally, I have seen, analyzing the failure gives you a lot of insights. Even at times it exceeds, the books. Many a times we can get more insight by analyzing a failure rather than reading the books. But again, I'm not, underestimating the power of book. Books are always great. I'm fond of books, but reviewing the strategy is a full-time. It's a full-time event. We have to keep on doing, and it's an ongoing process. Rather, it's not that, but with every step we have to review, we have to analyze, we have to re-strategize, rather, and the cycle goes on. So that's how it is.
And also review why it works, because I saw a couple of examples where the startup makes something and just okay, if it will just works, that's okay, and then it works and they just why, and they just stop asking what happened. And they are so interesting because you can keep it both just to be engaged, because sometimes you can learn much more from why it works and see new opportunities how to move forward rather than constantly ruminating about why it's not working.
Oh, yes. I 100% agree with you. Strategy is a very complicated topic. We can have a separate session altogether on the strategy. And believe me, that can be a great session. That can, of course, be a great session. So anyway, next I'm just a little deviating from the topic. Now, why breaking industry rules is often the fastest path to disruption. This is a bit controversial topic. We must not be breaking the rules, of course, rules of land, laws of land, we should not be breaking. But many a times it is showing that going through the same path leads to the same results. That doesn't lead to the disruption, or it doesn't lead to some innovation which we are thinking of. Now, could you help us understand, questioning or challenging the accepted norms? Acceptance, there is a norm which is accepted going on since ages. Now when we are challenging or questioning them, that leads to innovation. Okay, and this also leads to the category creation. So this is one aspect of it, but many a times it is not taken so good in the society. Let it be any society, first disruption or first I must say the first change is always taken in a bit negative way. People have to fight, people have to, struggle a lot in order to overcome this accepted norms, quote unquote. So what are your thoughts on this, Anton? Over to you.
I would recommend a book called Atlassian Shrugged. And here's a really interesting definition about the norms. And we, at the moment, struggling to ask questions, because we accept norms as is, without even debating the norm. Right? What behind this norm? In a lot of cases, by the norms might have some sort of the feeling of, control, the fear, and a lot of things. And moving forward, the fastest path to I would call it fastest path to opportunities is to start asking questions. And when you ask the question, you will see the cracks. And these cracks will lead you to more information, to more insights, and to more potential steps, which you might take or just at least think about carefully. And this is accepted norms. I hear it something calling from society or from some person who needs some sort of the stability. Right? For example, we have a society, obligations, rules, and a family. It depends on the country, on the cultures, a lot of things. And sometimes these accepted norms might be different. For example, if you will buy someone 3 roses, for example, in India, it's just bad sign, right? Just 2 roses is a great one. And for example, if you will get it in Europe, or for example, I'm from Belarus, Yeah, the people will say, yeah, 2, it's the bad sign, you need to buy 3. It's exactly the same norms, but the people are treated differently, and there are different things behind it. And breaking industry rules, I would say not breaking, just make a zoom out of these rules and see what's behind the rules or above these rules, what you don't see. Because probably when you have rules, you have some sort of the limited frame which you try to see the world. And when you try to remove these blocks as you go, you will see bigger picture all the time on all steps. And as times come, you will see probably a huge picture. You will start asking a great question, and you will start just, okay, why? If the people don't have the sense of why, they would be, it's just the rule, and you just, okay, it's a rule for what? And you will see this false understanding and what's the industry and the rules, and where someone wants to limit you, and where you can benefit, or where you can just move it around. It's about like being a water. And these rules are trying to add you limitations, and you constantly find a way how to find new opportunities. Because sometimes these rules great because they put you in a position where you need to survive. And when you survive mode, you make go beyond your abilities, which will unlock this potential, like a boost. It's also great, but it works in some cases. And just, I would say, build this courage of breaking rules sometimes. It's amazing ability as a human being.
Wow, some great points. First point which you have mentioned, I have just taken it down, is that, breaking the industry norms. Industry norms are at times taken as a control or probably a fear factor many a times. So we have to start questioning instead of, you have rightly mentioned that breaking should be replaced with questioning first. Now, once we start having some great question, we can really see some cracks on these rules. Whatever the rules or whatever the norms which people are following since ages, you will start seeing the cracks on this. If it is good, it is good. If there is some cracks, there is some way of improvement. There are something which we can still improve. That's how the evolution came into being. There are survival of the fittest and whatever concept we got, when this all developed from the cracks on the existing norms. Now, these kind of rules are the limiting frameworks. This limiting frameworks can really limit your thinking, but human mind at times go beyond the limits, beyond the walls, or whatever you say it as. So once these blocks are removed, you can see some great questions, and these questions can lead to some wonderful answer out of the box thinking. Out of the box thinking is important. So questioning the existing norms, asking great question, finding the cracks, is ultimately leading to something out of box thinking. This frameworks led people to think in a certain way. Now, when we are questioning those norms, we are finding cracks in this that compels us to think out of box. So that is something, and this further limits the ability. Now, we have to, I should not say we should break the laws of the land or the rules which are laid down by authorities, but we must question, and we must think something which is beyond what has been put as a limitation. Because some of the finest inventions came up from such kind of questions. Even some of the finest medicine, even we know how the penicillin got invented. We know how a lot of existing age-old practices got distorted, age-old practices got disrupted, and new scientific thinking came across. And that's how it has happened. That's how industrial revolution came up in Europe. So that's how it is. They kept on challenging every time. But 30-40 years back, can we even think that Amazon, the marketplace like Amazon could even exist? The products like Google could even exist? No, we cannot. But someone challenged the thoughts, someone challenged the framework they were in, and that's how some great products came in. So that's how it is. Now, some very good pointers you have mentioned. Now, this is leading us to a similar concept, mindset shift. Now, what mindset shift is required to move from survival mode to the creator mode? So we all are in the survival mode. Okay, now we all know how to survive, how to get up, how to start our day, how to carry on with the same work and came back, desk work, and all those things, end of the day. Now, this is the survival mode. But in order to be great, we have to shift from survival mode to the creator mode. Now, in order to do this, what is the first thing required is the mindset shift. We cannot do the same thing what we are doing I'm sorry, I'll rephrase my words. We cannot do a different thing from the same mindset which we are having. We have to change our mindset and we have to upgrade our mindset. Now, could you please help us understand how the founders can stop reacting to problem and start designing the intentional business? Or you can even help us to understand that mindset shift how a mindset shift can help handle a specific situation, and how this mindset exercises can be done or can be completed. Over to you.
It's a great question. Let me start with some theoretical knowledge first. Let's take a look at the human brain and be big. We have right part of the brain and left part of the brain. The right part of the brain operates what's great might happen. And all critique, negativism are not affected. And the right brain, it's about the vision. Who I want to be, what is the future, what I can do. And probably this just the right part of the brain sometimes through the circumstances or the other things are not working well. And we have left side of the brain, and left side of the brain has tendency to ruminate. And we probably on survival mode, because left part of the brain answer the question what I should do today, tomorrow, or at least a week range. But there is no future. It's the action items, it's the execution, consciously or subconsciously. As the main idea of mindset shift, when you start bringing the future to the right brain, where the person can start understanding, okay, now I see where I'm going at least what is the path. And connect with the left brain to build a routine every day, and for example, for week, for months, how this routine, daily routine, will help me achieve the future I want. And then you will get a synergy between left and right part of the brains. And this is where the magic happens, because you start seeing the future, you have a stable vision, and you know how to make the action step. And this is the magic will just happen immediately. Because every day you will start seeing a new opportunities. And also I call it lenses. Just I have some sort of the idea of the 5 lenses. And this is what we think, what we do, what we talk, what is the result, and the last one, I call it a button. When you click a button, you're looking for regrets or you're looking for opportunities. And probably it's you advocate for the devil or advocate for something great. And this is a really powerful one to click this button, because even you think clearly, talk clearly, do clearly, and have expected result, and you're constantly finding cracks in what you're doing and planting the doubts, you are just not moving in the right direction. In this boost, when you have these 4 and click this magic button, then you will have a rocket jump. You're constantly looking for opportunities and you're doing everything right. And you everywhere, all the time, you're finding the confirmation you're on the path.
Wow. It's more of an anatomical subject, I must say, rather than it's a coaching subject you have taken. I really liked it. It's a learning lesson for me. How the left and right brain synchronizes. Right brain is towards future, vision, and everything. On the other side, the left part of the brain is contrary to it. This is on a survival mode. What we are doing today and we are doing now. How once we create the synergy between right and left brain, So there something great happens, people can see, or people can see something good, or the future vision comes, you know this synergy is something very interesting. Probably I'll study about this. It is something which I really find it very interesting, how the left and right part can be synchronized and can get into the sync, so that that button gets clicked. We can think, we can read, we can do whatever, but at times that trigger is not pulled, nothing happens, that it doesn't change you to action. We can have a great vision and everything, but we have to press that button in order to get into that action mode. Now, this left and right synergy is very important for everyone, probably not only for business founders, but for even for the people in all fields of work. But I'll take up this subject on some other time in a different podcast altogether. But it's a very interesting to me. I find it very interesting, right? Now I'm moving to the next topic. Now, how does breaking free from normal affect team building and leadership? Now, everyone is so accustomed, or I must say, everyone so comfortable with the regular mode of work, or I must know what is going on, and no one would like to deviate. So, could you help us to understand how to execute this? And how to hire, how to build culture or leadership approaches that do not follow the regular corporate norms, rather do something extraordinary and build something extraordinary. Over to you.
To be concise, I fan of leadership idea where everyone can do what they do the best. And in this case, if you will say someone what he or she need to do, it will create probably not win-win situation. For me, it's leadership approach to build the teams. It's creating environment with win-win situation. And I really will empower everyone to use the best in people and cultivate the potential in them. For a comparison, I would say if any deviation will come rather than win-win on a long-term relationship or lasting relationship, it would be the worst approach, because one side or another or both sides need to cut something off from themselves to be in this environment. And it's not about corporate norms, it's not about anything, it's about environment. And the people are lean into environment. Then, speaking about corporate norms and leadership, I'm fan of creating an environment where the people can use the best skills they have and become a better version of human beings. And everything which deviates from win-win situation on a lasting relationship would be a worst case scenario, and it will transform the environment to something you're not expecting. And as a great example is you can put any, for example, great person, engineer or manager, and put that person in a specific environment, and this person will adapt, because we as a human being have a great sense of adaptability. And other way around, you can take the person from specific environment and put in FANG, for example, or I don't know, Tesla or some startup, and the person will grow some way or another. And this is about the environment. And just creating this environment, this is the one thing, because creating, it's not the end goal. It's not a process. It's just one-time exercise. But keeping this environment, this is interesting challenge where the leadership approaches and the coaching would be a best deal. How to keep these talents around you and constantly just not raising the bar, but constantly evolving with the people, because the people around you will frame this environment. And as the people grow, as they learn, the environment would be different every month, every day, every year. And this is some sort of It's not a stability as we spoke at the beginning. It's about the changing all the time. And the corporate norms probably are really strict and put you in a frame where you need to just follow the rules.
Wow, that's very well explained. I really like the way you have explained this environmental factor, because it's quite expected that corporate rules are very strict. It always keeps you going in the same direction. But at the same time, environment changes. It's not something which we are having today. Is not something which we are going to have after 1 month or in the coming year. Now, environment has got a lot of I must say, many a times corporates are not so flexible to the environment. They would like to dictate the environment many a times, but that many companies nowadays have even framed that apart from disciplinary things, they are not getting much into the framework or something. Because I have especially seen in the companies like IBM, or even I have seen in the companies like the Microsoft and everything, they are easing out this norm at times in order to get into this innovation mode. Because every time the things are changing, the requirements are changing, people's especially their clients, the requirements and clients expectations are changing. So this environmental factor, they are also trying to ease out, because or probably I must say, they are trying to have a correlation between environment and their norms. But that may not be the case with every other companies. So people who are innovation driven, people who are R&D driven, they are more into, R&D, I mean research and development, R&D driven or research and development driven. They are more flexible with their environment. They are more dynamic with their environment in order to trigger innovation. Especially, I have seen this in few of the Chinese company. They are putting a lot of emphasis on innovation, rather than putting their people on a strict track. Of course, in China, rules are very strict. You cannot unfollow them, or you cannot break them so easily. But this is something which, when once they are in R&D, research and development mode, their environment is completely different from the work mode, the general work mode, because that environment triggers innovation, and other environment, the extreme corporate norm based environment, triggers, that doesn't trigger innovation. This more triggers control. So this is something a quick I must say, it's a quick analysis of the work environment and the research and development environment. Now, I'm going to the next point. Now, how does breaking free from normal impact pricing and value perception? I must say, people are more, in the present scenario, it's very price sensitive market we have seen globally. So, exploring this unconventional pricing strategy or selling based on value is not a comparison, because, when we are seeing value, when we are more giving more emphasis on the value, of course that pricing strategy or pricing expectation has to change. Because we cannot compare, because when we are seeing this value perception, we cannot compare apple to apple. We have to compare apple and orange, whichever suits better, whether it's apple or orange. So we have to select the value perception rather than pricing perception. What are your opinions on this? Over to you.
I really love value perception, especially nowadays on this competition ladder, where we have a lot of similar things and the people try to play with pricing and other things, and the pricing will change definitely many times along the way. But the value or the mission why the people are buying your things or goods or products, whatever, probably this is something really stable, where the people see the stability and consistency, because your definition and mission and vision are strictly aligned. And the people probably fall in love with that. It's a great example of the Apple. Just, it's the mission. The people buy an Apple not because they some preferences. Yeah, this is some cases where the people would prefer some other notebooks, but For example, from my experience, I'm buying Apple for vision, for mission, what they contribute to the society. And I also experienced the other notebooks, but for me, it's just a different sense and taste and a bit shape. But the Apple, for me, it's unique. And this uniqueness brings lots of value to anything.
Wow, that's wonderfully explained. 3 points I have just taken is that value really means why people are buying this, right? It could be goods, it could be even the services, because now the service business is also going in a big way in across the globe. Now, why people are buying this? Now, you have given an example of Apple. It's a great example of value perception. What exactly the value that product is delivering to the customers or probably to the users. So that is really important. Always we will find the Apple phones or Apple notebooks are quite expensive as compared to their competitors. So this is one thing which is important. And second thing is that you have read how unique is your product. That uniqueness really matters. Apple has given a lot of things, a lot of value perception, the speed, the stability, or you may even say the creativeness which is there, creative tools which Apple has given is something amazing. It's really amazing. That was a real innovation. But every time I have seen that once Apple launches a new phone, there is always a queue outside the Apple store. Okay, when is going to open? Okay, I should be the first customer. That craze they have come. It's not because of the pricing. Of course, they are always high price, but it came out of the value perception, and of course the way they have projected their products, way they have placed their product in the market. So that's how that is drawing their customers. That's making their customers absolutely. They are retaining their customer. They are having repeat customers day in and day out. Now, one example I must say, it's the Nokia. Nokia was a great company. My first phone was, of course, a Nokia, an amazing phone. I have no complaints with that phone. I'm always in favor of Nokia, but Nokia could not, compete with the market because they carried on with the same product, almost with the same type of product, rather than adding innovation. And people's preference changes and people's expectation changes, and somehow Nokia could not compete with that. Nokia could not. So ultimately, it has gone out of the market. People out of the preferences. And one more thing, one more phone I was very fond of, because that was the BlackBerry. The BlackBerry was, the first time we could check our emails on the phone was a great experience. We can reply while moving and all those. And secondly, the BlackBerry Messenger, probably that was the first instant messenger we received. And there used to be something called BlackBerry PIN. We have to give that BlackBerry PIN in order to get into that BlackBerry Messenger. I remember that. But everything slowly and steadily, because of the value perception, because of the market preference change, these all perished from the market. And again, this is on the value perception. If you are giving the same value to the customers, probably they are get into a fatigue mode, and they will move off. They will always want to see something new, which Apple is going on for some time. And of course, Android nowadays also competing with that, and Android is also adding a lot of features. But again, that's how it is. So value perception, pricing, I think one side you can have Android, one side you can have Apple on iPhone, and other side where the value perception was not that greatly delivered was Nokia, BlackBerry. So that's how this pricing and this war went on. So Anton, this is bringing us to the last point of our discussion. Okay, now what advice would you give a founder who feels stuck in the normal path? This is a regular thing. I must say, more than half of the founders are stuck in the normal path. That disruption is not happening. Now, could you share some actionable insights or encouragement for the founders, and which helps them to think differently or see some great opportunities? Over to you.
Oh, that's a great question. I would share my own experience and my own way. I started journaling, especially for the way I took a situation and explain the situation through facts, through feelings, and what is my expectation. And if you do it multiple times, constantly, you will see the patterns. You will start notice the patterns where you're doing same actions or you're aiming for same results. And this is the way you can adjust your actions or adjust your expectations. Because feels stuck, it's really broad. It's a broad sentence. And we can discuss about it a lot. But as a founder, probably feel comfortable with unknown is just journaling the things. Where is the facts? Where is the emotion? Because the worst case scenario is to take emotional actions rather than actions based on the facts. And as much information you can gather, for example, 35%, 55%, just to keep this mental balance, because for some of the people need 100% facts, for some of them less. If you have this bank and you contribute in your bank of facts all the day, you have more patience, more clarity, and you feel more resourceful. And then you can also think about, okay, if you are too emotional, you can try out some meditation or walking, or so just learn how to plug off. If you're too in the facts, you can also think about, okay, how I can take a bit more risk, because sometimes feeling stuck, you're just pushing away the ability. Okay, yeah, that was opportunity, but I push it away because maybe it's not the time, not enough, need just more functionality and just blank, right? Fill the blank. And in this case, just make it small, just piece by piece, just experiment a bit more. And find this foundation where you feel be comfortable. For example, if to make any new decision you need 45%, amazing. Just grab it, be brave, take courage, and enjoy the way, because you need to be flexible. You need to learn as you go, because you're a founder. And this ladder, it's quite challenging. It's everyday challenge.
Wow, that's really great. Journaling is amazing. I also started journaling after, after reading a book of Robin Sharma, that, journaling can really help. Whatever you're thinking or whatever you are feeling like, even you write down your aims, whatever you're thinking for today, good, bad, ugly, whatever, write it down. Once you write it down, I have seen that half of your problems becomes eliminated. You will say half of, okay, I'm thinking, I'm worrying too much, and I'm stressful about these things, these 4 things, come on. So that also gives us a fact check. Journaling is a very powerful exercise. So how you're how you're, what are the stress you are having, what are your vision, what are the failures you are having, write it down. This journaling is a very powerful exercise. I too, you have also experienced that. I too have experienced that. When I started my entrepreneurship journey, I also started journaling. Okay, sale is not good, provided there are these are the customer complaints, or probably this, how can I what went wrong, how can I rectify it, etc., etc. All happened over journaling. In 2020, when it was the toughest year for us, that journaling really helped me to come out of it, analyze our problem well, find out something innovative, and that's how it went on. So journaling is a great thing. Now, you have also mentioned taking emotional actions. Now, it's most of the actions are emotional actions, although rather than fact-based actions, because this is the general, this is actually it's a human tendency, I must say. That's a human behavior, because we are more emotional beings. We have our gray matters which are into emotion. So definitely emotion is something. Meditation is very important, I must say. I'm from India, and it is all in our land. Meditation is like it's not only a mental exercise, or it's not only it's more of a spiritual exercise that clarifies your thought, that eradicates your stress. Half of your mental problem, that mental health, whatever we talk about, half of the thing goes off if you meditate, even for 5 minutes on a daily basis. Sit quiet, meditate, observe your breath, and that's all. That clarity comes across. So that's there. There are there are, I must say, gurus, yoga gurus, who can teach you more than hundreds of ways you can meditate. You can meditate on your forehead, you can meditate on your breath, you can meditate on the names of certain gods, etc., etc. There are different way. All things are really help to overcome the stress a founder is having. And uh, whosoever is not whosoever is not having their clarity in their thoughts, meditation can be a great tool. And there is a story which goes on. Even Steve Jobs has come to India long before he became famous, because before his company became so famous, so successful, he came to a spiritual leader. And he said that after I visited that person, that spiritual leader, that spiritual guru, my thoughts become clarity. I exactly knew what next I should be doing, what I should not be doing, and so on. So these are the different things, because meditation is a very powerful tool. There are a lot of books which are available on this subject, and that's how. And I think especially the founders can immensely benefit from that. So this is my thought on this. Although I'm not a guru, I'm not a
Okay.
coach or something, but meditation is a great tool. Journaling is a great tool. These two are. Thank you so much, Anton, for picking up these two subjects. I can speak for hours on these two subjects, rather.
Yes, especially talking about the meditation. If you remember a film called Peaceful Warrior, there was a quote about, as a warrior, you should learn how to meditate at any point of time in any circumstances. And I would call you as a founder, you as a leader, you are a warrior. And you should learn how to meditate, to take action not based on the emotion, but based on your gut.
Well, I resonate exactly the same thoughts from The Art of War by Sun Tzu. That's a Chinese war strategist. That's a wonderful. It's always said. He always said that war is first fought inside the mind, then on the battlefield. It's always like that. So whatever war you are going for, you should fight it out inside your brains first. Then you should play it on the battleground. So again, here, whatever you just said, you should meditate first before going to the war. And you should strategize, and you should fight the mental war first, then you should go for the real war. And meditation is a great tool. So this is bringing us to the end of our talk show, and it has been wonderful, speaking with Anton, and some of the great insights we got from him. Now, if any one of you would like to connect with him, I will give his social media profile and other details in the description of this episode, using which you can connect with him. He has got some great, amazing coaching program for founders. So any of you would like to connect with him for his coaching, for any kind of guidance, feel free to reach out to him, take his coaching programs, and I'm sure you will all get benefited from them. So thank you so much, Anton, for being a part of the show, and thank you so much for your time. We are from the different part of the world, and sitting thousands of miles away, and still we connected on a wonderful topic, sharing some great knowledge. And thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much for being with me and having me on this show. It was really interesting. I'm just looking forward for new opportunities and contribute to your society and the podcast.
Thank you so much. And I assure that I'll bring him once again on the topics which are still untouched, on the strategy, or probably 2-3 topics which we just discussed, that we need another session for this. And I'll sometime or later we will bring him again in our show. And thank you so much, Anton. And to my podcast listeners, I request you for a review. I want an honest review how my podcast is helping you and enhancing your life. And I'll be back with many such episodes. Till then, stay tuned, stay connected, have a great day. And thank you once again, Anton, for being a part of the show.